Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Only Stupid Answers. This is the show where we answer your questions about movies, TV shows, comic books, lanterns, and X-Men casting, maybe. Oh, my goodness. I'm your host, DJ Wooldridge. With me, as always, is Roxy Stryer. Hello, Roxy.
That's me. I'm Roxy Stryer here with DJ.
Exciting episode.
Okay.
Big episode. We've been off for a couple weeks from the main show, and a lot has happened since then. And our main conversation, well, I guess it's like both are big enough to be main conversations, but we're going to be talking about X-Men casting at D23, and we're going to be talking about Lanterns premiere. So if you're watching this, if you're not watching this live, which you can do over at patreon.com/onlystupidanswers, episode 2 will have already dropped for Lanterns. I have not seen that. Roxy, I'm assuming you've not also seen, have you seen?
No. I was supposed to cover this show with Real Rejects, but then I was out of town. And so I'm bummed because otherwise I would have seen a lot more.
But now you get to enjoy it with the rest of us.
I know, and that is cool. That is cool. Like, I'll tell you more when we start talking about it. But
we'll get there. We'll get there. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. First things first, I do want to talk about comments from our previous video, which was talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day. Austin Tipper says this is in relation to because it was also coming off of Comic-Con, and so we talked about how they cast new T'Challa Jr. Austin Tipper says, question for DJ, what does, quote, mainline T'Challa even mean? As someone who has only seen the movies, isn't the whole idea that the Black Panther is a title that has been passed down for generations to protect their people? Isn't that what they're doing by passing the baton? I guess I don't know of anything that makes Black Panther inherently T'Challa, but again, haven't read the comics. This is what I'm talking about, Roxy, and this breaks my heart. Yes, part of Black Panther's backstory.
Wait, but I think this is such a fair question, DJ.
It is a fair question. This isn't against Austin Tipper, but this is why I have a problem with them just like, well, here's this new person. It's like, no, yes, part of Black Panther's backstory is that there have been multiple ones. Black Panther's T'Challa, and if I find it disheartening a little bit that the one main Black superhero we have, they're like, it could be anybody. It's not one guy, and it's like, yeah, but we will be getting new Peter Parkers until the heat death of the universe, right? But T'Challa's like, whatever, Black Panther's it's whatever. It's like, no, but it's T'Challa, man. That's who it is.
But can you answer their question about what does mainline T'Challa mean?
That means that if you pick up a Black Panther comic, almost any Black Panther comic, it's going to be T'Challa. Just like if you pick up almost any Spider-Man comic, unless it says it's Miles Morales Spider-Man or Ultimate Spider-Man, it's going to be Peter Parker. If you pick up any Superman comic, it's going to be Clark Kent. And so like,
and that bothers you.
It bothers me because we and it's not obviously it can be more than one thing. Because I do think a large part of this, and we talked about this in an episode, is more specifically for Ryan Coogler, but I also imagine for Kevin Feige, Chadwick Boseman was a friend. You know what I mean? And so it's less about the brand than it is about honoring the memory of the friend, and I understand that. But we treat characters like Clark Kent is Superman or Bruce Wayne is Batman, or it doesn't matter. Other people have taken those titles, but at the end of the day, Bruce Wayne's Batman, Peter Parker's Spider-Man, Clark Kent is Superman, Black Panther, whatever, it could be whatever. No, man, it's T'Challa. If those are also sacrosanct, and we feel incapable of leaving them, why is Black Panther just whoever happens to be wearing the mask is Black Panther, whatever, who cares? It's T'Challa, man. Have it be T'Challa. That's my opinion. That's my feeling.
How would you feel if they address that, right? If they're like, Black Panther always will be T'Challa, but there is no T'Challa. So
but that's the thing is like, so now we have to wait till they reboot the whole MCU to get another core T'Challa. Boo to that. Boo. Like, what are we doing?
I have very different feelings on this.
Yeah, like no, I give that character T'Challa. The character T'Challa gets one movie. Peter Parker has like 9. Clark Kent has like 9, probably. That's a bunch. Like Batman has 25. T'Challa gets 1.
He died.
Chadwick Boseman died. T'Challa didn't die. T'Challa is a fictional character. He can come back.
They did. He did.
They did kill him, but there's also the multiverse. Roxy, we've talked about this. You don't think they're going to give us another Steve Rogers in 2 years?
No, I don't think. No, I do think that. Not 2 years, but yes, I do think that, and I do think that we will get another T'Challa one day. But I don't have a qualm with this because I think that this is what, like, his community has asked for. So
I see very I mean, his personal community, yeah, probably. But the community of Black Panther fans, very mixed.
I meant his personal community. Like, it
Yeah.
seems like this is what they believe Chadwick Boseman, the people who know him, believe what they should do. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm happy to get a Black Panther.
Yeah.
And things do change in comics. Like, and when we're adapting things for the big screen, things change and life happens and things change. And like, I'm not as familiar with like Black Widow comics, but I'm fine with whoever we get. And I am more familiar with Green Lantern comics, and it's not a fair comparison because obviously we've always had all different, not always had, but for
Yeah.
I've
There's
been
a bunch of
comic
them.
book reader,
There's a
we've had
bunch of them. Yeah.
yeah, like so it's obviously different, but I think it will be cool. Like, yeah, of course, if we were gonna get another Black Panther and it wasn't T'Challa and it was like some little white boy, I would be like, this is insane. Like,
Yeah.
but I don't feel like they are doing something egregious here. But I'm not a comic book reader, like to the extent that you are. So
Again, it's just one of those. We don't treat any other character like whatever. It's a mantle to get passed down. No, when DCU launches their new Batman, it's going to be Bruce Wayne, right? So why is Bruce Wayne sacrosanct, but T'Challa's not? You know what I mean? It should be, in my opinion, T'Challa should get more than one movie. Leonard Kim says in the comments, T'Challa died in Wakanda Forever too. And Vision died in Infinity War. Come on, man. Come on. Wanda died in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. She's coming back.
She wouldn't have had one movie if the actor hadn't died. It wasn't, that was clearly not their plan.
But again, we talked about this. Christopher Reeve had that debilitating injury, couldn't be Superman anymore. They didn't cancel Clark Kent forever. We got new Clark Kents after Christopher Reeve was unable to keep doing the role. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They made the choice that they made. It's just as somebody, I just feel like, in my opinion, it's better for the character if we kept T'Challa as Black Panther and just recast that role.
But they didn't in Superman. It's not like that everybody else around them was the same and we just got a new Clark Kent. They rebooted the whole.
They recast Rhodey. Like, we can do it. We have the technology. We can recast people.
No, we can. It definitely was an option. I just think it's the option they didn't choose. And
they didn't choose it. I just think it was the wrong one. And that's my opinion. Chris F 5828 says Peter should have watched. Now we're back to Brand New Day. Peter should have watched Fast and Furious franchise for some amnesiac love advice. Letty, why didn't you tell me we had gotten married? Dom, you can't tell somebody they love you. And this is a good reminder. Fast and Furious also did. We gave Brand New Day credit for how people handed some sticky wickets. Credit to Fast and Furious too.
Wait, what is sticky wicket?
Just a sticky situation.
Oh
A problem.
God, are you my vocab teacher today?
You're welcome.
I'm writing down all the things you're saying. What was the deal with this? Because did you see on your time like all this Fast and the Furious stuff? What is this 25 years of Fast and the Furious stuff that happened this week? Did you see
I don't
all
know.
that?
No, I don't know. I guess it's 25 since the first movie.
There's a big screening and big event for Fast and the Furious, and I was like, "Is there something coming out? Did something come out? Is there new footage?"
25 years since the first one. Roxy,
yeah, but it was footage.
I don't know. I don't know. I kind of think we're never going to get that 11th movie. I think what's going to end on that franchise is going to end on that cliffhanger.
Do you think so?
I mean, they haven't made it. They haven't. And it's been a minute. It's been a minute. There's no rumblings of it. They're not filming it. They were supposed to film them back to back. They're not.
That's a good point. Those movies make a ton of money, right?
They did. I think the reason we're having this conversation is I don't think the last one did as well, and now they're very expensive to make because they're essentially their own Avengers Endgame at this point.
Because we go to space and under.
Not just all the cast, like everybody from every movie still around. Gal Gadot came back in Fast and Furious X. Spoilers for that movie. If she can come back, we could recast T'Challa. Anyway, I'm moving on. Draven says, with this version of Jean having more of an edge, do you think it's possible she starts out with Magneto and the Brotherhood? Also, is the door open for Black Cat in the sequel? I don't know how you feel about this, Roxy, but I feel like there's no chance she starts off with Magneto and the Brotherhood, and I feel like that's all but confirmed based on the X-Men casting we have so far.
Because of their ages?
Not because of the ages, but one, we don't have a Magneto. We're doing a completely different villain, not to jump ahead too much. And also, like, she's one of the, they're like, here's our X-Men cast, and there she is. She's one of them. No, she's going to be one of the X-Men. Maybe she's hanging out with Sinister first. Maybe that'd be something.
I agree with you.
I think Roxy will have stronger feelings on this, but I do think on the second half of the question, also is the door open for Black Cat in the sequel? I actually think there is. If people recall conversations I've had on multiple shows prior to Brand New Day, I wanted them to slow roll bringing Zendaya and Ned back, which they did not do. However, that movie does not end with MJ and Pete back together. And what I do think that does do is open the door for a love triangle. If in the sequel, if a Black Cat shows up, he's back around MJ, but they're not together. And then maybe he can start seeing what's going on with Black Cat. And so now there's complications, which is very Spider-Man, very Peter Parker, love trouble, love triangles. And I think that would be pretty cool.
Why do you want to hurt me?
I don't want to hurt you. I just want.
Why do you want to hurt me?
I just want story. I want Spider-Man story. I want Spider-Man stories that I haven't really seen in the movies, and we haven't seen Black Cat, and we haven't really seen a lot of love triangle stuff, and that feels very Spider-Man-y to me, and I'd like that. But here's the thing, Roxy. Here's what you could do. You have all that messiness in the sequel, and another thing we've never done, and it's kind of iconic, and it would be very cool, and I think Sony would be on board. Is I don't think we've gotten a big wedding thing in any of these MCU movies. And normally the big things that bring all the characters together are funerals, character deaths, and weddings. That's the way the comics used to be like, hey, and here's everybody. And like there was a big, when Spider-Man in the comics married Mary Jane, there was a big like, here's all the characters here for the wedding. I don't know how that logistically works with secret identities, but it doesn't matter. And so it's like you could do third movie in this theoretical trilogy is a wedding between Peter and MJ, and then you get as many MCU characters as you can afford to show up for it. That'd be pretty cool.
I like anything that results in the two of them together. So wedding works for me. Love triangle. Why are we going to do it? We already broke them up. There's already been issues. She already dated somebody else.
She's still dating somebody else. She's still with that guy as far as we know.
I don't think so.
I think so. We have no confirmation of breakup.
I don't think so. I did kind of feel for him though, because like you always feel for the other guy. Like you're not.
Oh yeah. Unless he's
Spider-Man, and like he seems like he's actually a sweet person.
Yeah, and you haven't seen Ahsoka, but he plays Ezra in that. That's the actor. Yeah,
I've heard of that character. He's a big Star Wars character, right?
Yeah. Before we get into news, we like to do a charity every month. This month's charity is the Spokane Tribal Network. They are doing work to help with those Washington wildfires that were a big deal. STN serves Spokane tribal communities on the reservation and across Eastern Washington. So if you want to help them support their work that they're doing, you can go to SpokaneTribalNetwork.org. Check that out, please and thank you.
I love that you do this, DJ.
I'm trying. It's literally the least I can do.
Well, it's not, because people do less. So
I guess so. I just wish I could
not literally.
I wish I could do more. I wish I could do more.
Me too. I just think about this all the time. I think I'd be a good rich person. I think I'd give a lot of money to a lot of places that need it. The
problem is, Roxy, is I think a lot of rich people think that, and then they end up. I think the rich part. I think it's. I don't know. I'm going to save this for our what we're into. You guys can check that over at patreon.com/onlystupid-answers. But after the House of the Dragon finale, I saw a couple posts. They're like, House of the Dragon upholds the patriarchy, and I'm like, well, one, if any of the patriarchy in that show was like insane. But I do understand the frustration that both Dany and Rhaenyra are going down dark paths. But I think you're missing the overall theme in that power corrupts. And so it doesn't matter how girl boss, whatever, the person you want in, the second anybody going for that throne is probably a bad person. And
I'm not saying I would be great at being a billionaire. I just think I would do well.
You're right. That's something to think about.
A little bit of money. I think I would do well.
And now that I say it out loud, I think, wow, all of us Americans do fall for that illusion of like, well, if I was rich, but because that's not on the horizon for me in any way, shape, or form. But I have had
billionaires. I think that should not exist as a concept. So
I have the same thought of like, well, if I had these resources, and then I would do these things, and it's like, no, you wouldn't, dude, because the second you have those resources, you'd be like, wait a second.
Yeah, but if I had any resources.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Some cool stuff, I think.
Hey, listen, if you want to have Roxy and I do more cool stuff, tell your friends about patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. Let's get that number up. Maybe we could do some more cool stuff. Speaking of cool movie stuff.
Good transition.
Thank you. Over the previous weekend from this one we just had, Disney did their D23 big expo thing. Marvel was at it. And at that expo, there were some big announcements. I'm going to start with the big one, which is X-Men movie news. Obviously, Sadie Sink came out on stage. Spoilers for Brand New Day. I think we already spoiled it in this conversation, but she is Jean Grey. Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. We already had word that Samara Weaving is playing Emma Frost and Kit Connor is playing Scott Summers. So those were both confirmed, and with them were also announced that Christopher Abbott is playing Professor X, Indy Navarrete from Obsession is playing Rogue, and Maya Boyd, who is primarily, from my understanding, is primarily a theater actress prior to this, is playing Storm. Roxy, I know you were out of town. Did you see this? Do you have thoughts on it?
Yeah, I did. I definitely did see this, but it is a fair question because no one I was with was talking about this. And it was so funny to me because I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, what? I was like, Indy Navarrete. That's crazy.
Yeah. Good for her. Good for her.
We were like, who are you talking about? And what are you talking about?
When do you, we probably have more insight of this than I might. What do you think the timeline is from, because Obsession just came out. Do you think this casting happened in between that release and now?
I heard this week her talk about how many roles she had to turn down in hopes of this. So I feel
that's tough. It worked out for her, but that's a tough position to be in.
So I feel as if it's been a longer process, and as if she clearly knew this was could be on the horizon and has been Xing things to hope to get to this. I haven't looked into it more, but I also think that she was in Supergirl. Nope. What's it called?
Superman and Lois.
Superman and Lois.
Yeah.
Sometimes it short circuits, DJ. Sometimes
I know.
So she probably is very familiar with a lot of casting directors. There's a girl who I know a lot of people are like, she went from Twitch to being a star, and it's like, no. They're like, it's not. This was a person who was auditioning. She was in the space. She yes, she did have a Twitch channel, but
that goes back to the misinformation where it's like those are she talked about how she was on Twitch trying to make money, and so because of the algorithm machine, it's like she went from that to this. Like, no, those are two semi unrelated points.
Totally. So just it's not like nobody in the industry, no casting director or producer had ever heard of her.
Yeah.
But of course, Obsession's success, I think, is the reason why they felt comfortable moving forward with her, and not just its success, but her performance in it.
Yeah.
As I don't know what they're gonna go for here storyline, but she probably will have some heavy lifting to do.
And literally and figuratively, depending on what her power set is.
Yeah, we've clearly just seen that she can do that, and that audiences respond well to her. I think that this is also similar to, as we've been talking about Oscar nominations, and you've said this, and Christian said this, and Greg has said this, and I have said this, and pretty much everybody in our space has said this, Oscars, don't be morons. Nominate this girl. You guys keep wanting to get to the youths, and you're doing it in the weirdest way possible. How about you nominate performances that people actually cared about this year like this?
Yeah.
And I think that Marvel is also listening to that. Okay, people really like this person. She is on their radar. So it's not the only casting announcement that I cared about, but it is funny how much I care about that and how little anybody else outside of the space seems to give a shit about that.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah,
good for her. Yeah. Even if
how did you feel? Was there one particular casting announcement that you liked, didn't like?
I will say across the board, I think this is solid. It is very safe. All the casting is it's a lot of honkies for the most part, right? He said this isn't everybody, and I did bury the lead a little bit. The other one that wasn't there was Adam Driver. And they did a little video bit where he implied that he was going to be Magneto, and then he was like, no, actually I'm playing Nathaniel Milbury, who, if you dig some digging, this isn't typically it's Nathaniel Essex, but if you do some digging, it's Mr. Sinister. He's playing Mr. Sinister. I think he would have been a good Doctor Doom, but he will be a great Mr. Sinister. I'm not complaining about him being Mr. Sinister. I just think he would have been a good Doctor Doom as well. Samara Weaving, the levels of sass that we are probably in for between Samara Weaving's Emma Frost and Adam Driver's Mr. Sinister, I'm very excited about. Unprecedented levels of sass in a Marvel movie, I would imagine. Christopher Abbott as Professor X, he will do a really good job. Christopher Abbott is a very talented actor. I like him in a lot of stuff. I think he'll do a great job. I am disappointed because there were, rumblings, rumors, who knows, how valid any of them were. But people talked a lot about casting a black actor as Professor X, and I think that would have been really cool, especially if we're going to do Magneto, because typically, they represent different ideologies. But Magneto has a lot more heft behind his perspective because he has dealt with prejudice outside of being a mutant. And so having Professor X also have dealt with prejudice outside of being a mutant, like normally if Professor X is just a average human passing white guy, it's like, your perspective doesn't really have a lot of teeth to it. Like, it's not like you haven't been through the same stuff this guy or anything related to the same stuff this guy's been through. And so I think it would have been really cool to have a black actor play Professor X. And that's kind of the thing. All this casting, I'm not familiar with Maya Boyd's work. I'm going to imagine she's going to do great. But for the most part, this casting feels very safe. It's all the characters you'd expect. It's by actors who look the way you suspect. And I feel like we are entering an era of Marvel after this shakiness of the multiverse saga where everything's very safe. Here's the X-Men played by actors that look like the characters from the cartoon. Don't worry. We're not going to introduce anything wild or crazy or interesting or have a perspective on it that's going to upset you. It's all going to be very safe. And that I understand it, but it bums me out a little bit, if I'm being honest.
So from a completely different stance that doesn't negate what you're saying at all, and I don't disagree with what you're saying at all, as one of my favorite shows of all time is Girls, and as a diehard fan of Girls, having both Adam Driver and Christopher Abbott in this, back to like,
I didn't know Abbott was on Girls. That's
cool. Where he's from. Yeah, and so I was like, oh my god,
he's great. He's going to do a great job.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. My little girl's nerd loving heart feels like I found Christopher Abbott and I found Adam Driver, which obviously is not what happened. But like, as somebody who religiously watched that show, it was like my version of, not that I didn't love Sex and the City, but like they just were the same age as me going through the state. Like, I just loved it. And Christopher Abbott is so brilliant on that show, as is Adam Driver. So I was pretty excited about this. That's such like a niche little
totally
thing
understandable.
to be excited about. But I was like, oh, that's super duper cool.
I think Christopher Abbott's great, and I think he'll make interesting choices in the role. I think he's actually a really interesting pick for
really
it.
Really good. Nothing you're saying is negating that. Nothing you're saying is like, this guy can't do this. Is this the biggest swing that Marvel could have taken? Clearly not.
Yeah.
And I like you. I think that it's not okay. Quick aside for a second. Do you know what Camp Rock is?
Isn't that a Disney Channel?
Yeah, so there's these Disney Channel original movies that I've been watching for Real Rejects, and Camp Rock 3 came out this week. And in Camp Rock 2, Camp and 1, that's where they found Demi Lovato and the Jonas Brothers. Gotcha. And now we're like 15 years later, and there was all these new, you can tell it's about to be the next Ariana Grande, the next Sabrina Carpenter. Like, it's these teeny boppers that are about to be these massive stars.
Yeah.
It was really cool because when I used to watch DCOMs, Disney Channel original movies, as a kid, it was like all white people and then usually one non-white person, like a token blah, blah, blah person. Yeah. And that was the cast. And I didn't notice that as a kid because I was a white girl. So, like you're not looking at it that from that perspective, like you're looking for representation. I was just like, oh yeah, this is just what this cast looks like. And then you get to be an adult and you're watching your little sister watch it, or nieces and nephews. And you're just like, oh, this shit is so white. Why is this stuff so white? And then they did start to change things with like Raven Simone's show and all of that. But finally watching Camp Rock 3, I really loved it, and it was so much more entertaining because everybody looked different,
Yeah.
And therefore they had different like backgrounds of their characters and different life experiences. And it was just, and different types of voices and sounds. And it was just more fun for me to watch than watching what we've seen. And so even like something as small as that, comparing X-Men to Camp Rock is hysterical. But I was just like, it makes for better movies because I give a shit more because everybody's different and not just kind of like a carbon copy of each other.
Yeah.
And so while I love this casting, and there's a lot of people in this casting I love, do I feel like having diverse casts makes better movies? Not just because we can say we had a diverse cast, but because it actually makes the quality of the movie better and more interesting. Yes,
Yeah.
I do. I do.
Yeah, and I also 100%. I also think it stands out more with X-Men specifically,
Right, as they're
because
mutants and like that's part of their background and they're telling and like feeling othered.
yeah, exactly. That's the whole X-Men's whole bit, and I do feel it's a little glaring when they're like, like we're talking about being othered, and it's just the most gorgeous white people. Like when people are like, why are the X-Men hated and feared? And it's like you look at James Marsden, and you're like, yeah. He'd be on the Avengers. He'd probably run for Senate and win. Like, I don't know. Like, it's not like
who's like a Kennedy. Like, he for sure looks like a
Kennedy. Like, has he? Now that you said it's like, has he played? He should play one in something. But like, people talked about, and there's validity to this, because they talk about Brand New Day, and it's like, well, after what Jean did in New York, I see why mutants are hated and feared. And it's like, yeah, but also think about what Sentry did in New York. Think about what Wanda's done in any given movie. What about the Hulk? He was teaching classes, and the Hulk's destroyed how many cities? Like, you know what I mean? It's like the Marvel heroes across the board do much more damage than they help. Like, but we'll see. There is more casting. There's Kevin Feige said on stage, this isn't everybody. Anyway, speaking of X-Men stuff, Hugh Jackman did a video bit with Ryan Reynolds off camera that implies both Wolverine and Deadpool will be in Doomsday.
Why are they saving this at this point, DJ? Like, we kind of had that Comic-Con bit and then this D23 thing, and it's like, what is this? Why is this the thing that we're holding on to?
I didn't really think about it too much until I actually watched the video. I'm like, oh, this seems very desperate to me. Where it's like, this was supposed to be a surprise that Wolverine and Deadpool were in it. And now they're like, tell people Wolverine and Deadpool are in this movie. Tell Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine made $1 billion. Tell them they're Avengers Doomsday. We need people to show up.
But to your first point, why was this supposed to be a surprise when all of these other things aren't a surprise? Like, why was this the surprise? I feel like I'm missing something there.
I don't know. Who knows? I actually do think Doomsday is going to do pretty well. I think the question will be, will it get people excited for Secret Wars? But speaking of Doomsday, we got a new Doomsday trailer, and Roxy, will you be surprised to learn I don't hate this trailer.
Oh, okay, good. I didn't either, but that's more surprising for you.
We do spend a lot of time in like muddy CG dystopias, and I'm hoping this isn't like the whole movie isn't just like every scene's like, and we're standing in front of gray wreckage. I'm hoping like, these movies tend to be pretty secretive, as we're talking about. I'm hoping like we're choosing a very thin sliver of the movie that happens to be in, gray, desolate, whatever.
With a little bit of green. What do you like about this trailer?
If I didn't know Robert Downey Jr. was Doom, I would like what we're doing with the character. I will tell you a secret hope, Roxy, and you're gonna have to let me down gently.
Okay.
But my secret hope now is that, and I've thought this for part of this for a while, that the reason we're doing this is, and again, why keep it a secret? I can't tell you. We want Iron Man back for Secret Wars. We want the whole game. We want to see Iron Man next to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, next to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Like, we want that shot. And to do that, but keep it a quote-unquote secret, we're backing the money truck up to Robert Downey Jr. to play Doom. But what that could mean is maybe that's true. Maybe RDJ will come back as Tony Stark. And that means that Doom will never take off his mask. Not once. We're paying for Robert Downey Jr.'s face for him to be Tony Stark again. But him as Doom, he's playing Doom, but we never see Doom's face. That, I think, is not my preference, but like, because it's still kind of distracting that he's playing both characters. But is there a chance, Roxy, that they never take off Doom's mask and they're never like, actually, look, he looks like Tony Stark. Is there a chance they won't do that?
5%.
Okay, so if for people that are listening to the audio, Roxy's face said "fuck no" was what her expression said.
No, listen, you're not the only person who's asking this question.
Because I don't hate him as Doom. Like if I eject from my brain that it's RDJ, I'm like, this is Doom. It looks like Doom. It sounds like Doom.
Yeah, the reason I'm giving you 5% is you're not the only person asking this question, which must mean in the writers' room they had to ask themselves this question, or in the pitch, or before they even approached him. I have I guess an unrelated question to that, but kind of related, because so the main villain of Doomsday, or character in Doomsday, Doom, we know. Yeah. My question after all of these trailers is, do you understand who the leads of this film are?
No.
I was starting to think about that.
Can I tell you, that was another thing you asked me about what I liked about this trailer. Yeah. I did like how Fantastic Four forward it was, because you're right, most of it's Doom, but the big monologue that explains who Doom is, like vibe-wise who Doom is from Sue, and Vanessa Kirby kills it. And even though we haven't seen Doom yet in this universe, I think that relationship comes across. And then the other big moment that stuck out to me, probably for a lot of people, it's Thor attacking Doom. But the other one that stuck out for me was Reed being like, did you do this? And Pedro Pascal's performance in that conveys a lot of like, this is how you get me. Like the fanboy in me, I'm like, oh my God, it's like we've gotten Fantastic Four and Doom in other movies. Bad movies. But like, oh, cool. It's a Fantastic Four I like, with like a convincingly threatening Doom. And so the fanboy in me is like, oh, cool.
Yeah. But is there a lead character in this?
The rumblings, I don't think so. But I mean, so who would you say, to that point, who would you say like the lead character is in Infinity War or Endgame? Because I feel like those are the closest comparisons. Not even Avengers 1 or 2, those ones specifically. Right.
However, like we've only seen Fantastic Four in one other movie leading up to this, and I know that doesn't lie the problem a little bit. I mean, I would say it's our core, right? It's our core that are there. I would say that there's like a core 5 leads.
Thor, they're pushing Thor a lot.
They are pushing Thor a lot.
Do you think he dies? Is there a chance he dies in this?
I don't think so, because of the kid thing, but how heavily involved do you think the X-Men are in this movie? I wonder if this is if they're like our lead group in this.
I think they're not long for this world.
A lot of people have said that they're going to die within the first 10 minutes of the movie.
I thought that too. The more trailers we see, I think it's more than that. They seem to be more in it than that.
Yeah, it makes me wonder. And none of these are bad things to wonder about. Every trailer I see makes me think like, who are we focusing on? And yeah, with a lot of announcements that have been coming out. So that you saw that Disney announced the list of movies that you need to see before watching this movie.
Yeah.
And they were kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like some of them were really strange. Like No Way Home being the only of the Spider-Man movie that they said.
Yeah. And that has to do with
that the Tobey Maguire part of this, or like specifically X-Men and X2. But no Days of Future Past, no, there's just like certain things that are and certain things that aren't, which makes me wonder like who is, and we've seen Shang-Chi in the trailers and they said that you need to watch Shang-Chi. It's like, is that just character related, or is this about?
Does that factor into his thing?
Plots?
Let me, to your question, Roxy, what is the premise of this movie?
Right.
What's Doom trying to do?
Yeah.
Here's the watch list, by the way, as Roxy mentioned it. X-Men, X2, Captain America, the First Avenger. That's a weird one. I guess because Steve Rogers is in it. The Avengers.
Yeah, but no, is it because Steve Rogers is it? Or is it because we're about to do something with him and Peggy and like the life
you're right.
wanted?
Yeah. The Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame, Loki, Shang-Chi, No Way Home, Wakanda Forever, Brave New World, Deadpool and Wolverine, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four: First Steps.
That's it, DJ.
Yeah.
Weird ones, right? Like kind of makes you wonder about the plot and the characters in this. Like,
Yeah.
huh? Okay.
We'll see. This could be a big old disaster.
And why not? And yeah, as Leonard's saying it, but also like, what about the Marvels?
Because she, what is it?
Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau ends up in presumably this X-Men universe
with Beast.
Yeah, and it's presumably the one the universe we're seeing in this.
So you would think like if it's plot related, I don't know, that would be the most important element of it, but maybe not. So at this point, I'm glad that you enjoyed this trailer. Every piece of footage they've put out, I have enjoyed. There's a lot of people who are like, I know exactly what the plot of this movie is. And I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, I have no clue. And I'm a little concerned about that. But speaking of, Roxy, you mentioned that we've only seen this Fantastic Four in one movie prior to this. Let's talk about the one trilogy we've gotten, sort of, in those Multiverse Saga with WandaVision, and then Agatha All Along, and then Vision Quest. We're following up with White Vision after the events of those. Paul Bettany returning in the role, and he is working at a bar that we saw. I don't know if we saw it, but a bar that he and Wanda went to. I presume it's the one from Infinity War, but I actually don't know. And meanwhile, he has like a virtual mindscape with all of the different AIs we've seen throughout the series. And we get to one of the things that excites me most about this. I like the little callbacks to stuff. Here's one that people aren't talking about that I think is really cool, is James D'Arcy is playing Jarvis. And if people don't remember, he played the living. So we all know Paul Bettany played AI Jarvis starting with Iron Man. But there was a flesh and blood Jarvis that first appeared in the Agent Carter TV show, then made a brief cameo in Endgame, and now is coming back to play AI Jarvis in this, which I think is very cool. But the other one that I'm glad we're using again is James Spader is returning as Ultron. And they're clearly doing this like, when you're in the Vision Quest home, we're doing human avatars because we've learned some lessons from shows like She-Hulk, and we can't have fucking robot Ultron walking around the whole thing. And I'm like, I'm totally fine with all of that. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I think it's cool that we're pulling on that thread again and we're bringing Ultron back.
Yeah, I didn't watch this trailer until today, as you know, DJ. I kind of dug it.
Yeah.
I've been a little concerned about this because, as you know, Wanda was my favorite character, and I actually didn't like her show, which is weird because everybody loved that show.
I still see posts of like, well, this is clearly the best one. I'm like,
the best one, and I'm like, I don't. And this one is kind of reminiscent of that show.
Yes.
But I liked the trailer anyway, and I liked his kind of confusion and processing style. I also liked the vibe and the music. So I'll be really curious to see, of all of Marvel's content that's been announced, this is the one that I'm concerned that I'm not gonna like.
Yeah, I understand. I'm into it. I like the stuff we're doing. I like that Ultron's back. We're also introducing Tommy. I'm going to attempt to say the actor's name, and I'm not going to do a good job, and I apologize. Rorid Molika. And that, I mean, I don't, at this point, he's apparently Italian. At this point, are we ever going to pay off the Vision Wanda kids at this point? Are we ever going to get, who the fuck knows? I don't know. I can't tell you. Are they going to show up in Secret War? I don't know, man.
There's so many dropped storylines.
Well, I was excited. We're not going to talk about it, but they're introducing a new, or I don't know if they're introducing it, but they're giving more information about a new Marvel ride at Disney's Land and World. And Iman Vellani is playing Miss Marvel in it. She's going to be the character that walks you through it. And I'm like, oh, good. I'm glad we're doing something with that, I guess, in a ride.
Yeah, I love her. And yeah.
She's got to be in Secret Wars, right?
What do you think about, I don't know. Yeah. I was thinking about that too. I don't know. What do you think about, I don't think Gadu. I hope so, but I don't think Gadu. What do you think about, part of those rides? This was an issue that Greg Alba of Real Rejects was having, and I don't necessarily share the same issue, but you're a bigger comic book reader, so I'm curious. What do you think about the fact that they have RDJ coming back and filming stuff as Iron Man for new attractions for Disney?
Do it. Yes. I can't imagine that was cheap, but like, yeah. I'm not hung up on like, well, he died. Whatever, man. It's comics. Like, I think there's absolutely.
But what
no
about the
way.
fact that they're trying to get us to see him as Doom now?
That's why they shouldn't have cast him as Doom. Roxy, I saw a post, and this is probably bullshit. This is what we were talking about earlier. This is probably one of those posts that's bullshit. That apparently, like, they talked with Mads Mikkelsen briefly to play Doom before they decided on RDJ.
That's a very good casting choice.
It would have been great. And so many of the comics were like, wait, he already played Caecilius in Doctor Strange. And RDJ famously played another character in Marvel movies. What are we talking about? Who cares? I think that's, even if he does a great job as Doom, and if I'm being honest, like what I've seen so far, it's like, yeah, man. I mean, like, it doesn't sound like, I don't hear it and be like, oh, that sounds like Tony Stark. It sounds like a different character. He looks cool. Even if he does great, it's distracting. And for him coming back as the Ride, I feel like there's no way we get through Secret Wars without RDJ playing Tony Stark again, at least for Secret Wars. There's no way.
For what period of time?
No, I don't know, but there's no way.
Like, no way, as in like could be a flashback.
No, we are gonna get a shot, a group shot that has Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark, with Chris Evans, Steve Rogers, with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. That's the reason you do a Secret Wars movie, so you can get that shot of the. That's why you do the multiverse saga.
Okay.
You do it for two things. You do it so you can get the three Spideys together. And then you do it for that, like, hey, remember, maybe Wesley Snipes' Blade will be in there. They'll be like, hey, remember all these things? Yeah. That's what it is.
You watch South Park with the member berries? Yeah.
Secret Wars will be, the multiverse saga has basically been member berries, the saga. Like, do you remember?
Why does that sometimes work on me though, DJ? I'm such a target sometimes.
I'm not, listen.
I'm not above it. I'm
not above it too sometimes. I do think you got to be intentional in how you deploy it for it to really like stick. And I feel like the multiverse saga has been really scattershot by and large. And so I think that's why it's been kind of hit or miss. But we were talking about, but I mean, like, again, to your point, one of the things I'm excited about in Vision Quest is we're doing more stuff with Ultron. It's like, yeah, you should. That's good. And that's kind of a member berries thing. Like, remember Ultron?
Yeah.
Remember?
Because it's been long enough for member berries for that.
Well, and I guess in that sense, it's more of like just a returning antagonist.
Right.
Also, I will say briefly, there looks to be one shot in that trailer where Vision gets an updated, colorful costume, and just from the brief, and it's in motion, so you barely see it. It's like, that doesn't look bad. Because I will say, Sal and I do a joint show, Comic Pop and Only Stupid Answers, where we're covering all the Marvel movies leading up to Doomsday. And we just did Ultron, Age of Ultron. So that's another reason why I like Vision Quest. Ultron's back. I'm like, cool. Paul Bettany's great as Vision. I feel like Vision's always looked like ass. The Vision design has always looked like ass in the movies. And so it's like, ooh, a new one? Let's try a new one. Let's see if we can nail it.
Like ass, but definitely an upgrade could be the right call for sure.
Yeah, the white Vision helps because there's less like clashing. It's just all white, you know what I mean? So it feels less busy. I'm excited for them to try it. Let's try a new one. Let's see if we can nail a new one. Now we're going to move on. I told you guys, this is a big one. This is a big one, big week. We've got Lanterns. This, of course, is the new DCEU, just plain old DCU show, part of the same universe as James Gunn's Superman, starring Aaron Pierre as John Stewart and Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan, and it's created by Tom King, Damon Lindelof, and Chris Mundy. Lanterns follows new recruit John Stewart and Lantern legend Hal Jordan, two intergalactic cops drawn into a dark Earth-based mystery as they investigate a murder in the American heartland. Roxy,
I'm so nervous based on the way that you read that, DJ, that you're not as into this as I am.
I did put a little spice onto it. I like this a lot.
Sassafras.
I like that sassafras. See, you got your phrases too.
Yeah,
I'm not the only one. No, Roxy, I like this a lot. I thought this was again. I've only seen the first episode. I thought that first episode real good. I liked it a lot.
Okay, obviously there's the thing to talk about. But
yeah. We're not there yet.
Before we talk about the thing, I also liked it a lot, and you have been telling me about Aaron Pierre and how much you love him.
Yes.
And I have liked him too in significantly smaller roles than you saw him in. What's it called? What Ridge?
Rebel Ridge. Everybody should watch Rebel Ridge. If you like Aaron Pierre as John Stewart in this, you should watch Rebel Ridge. I also think the small town that Rebel Ridge takes place in, I think some of those same sets were used in this small town.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it looks like the same town.
I told you that he appeared in a few episodes of the morning show this season. And he's just like this very sexy love interest.
That's a good role for him.
And so obviously he nailed it. He is just like this really hot, wealthy guy.
I see it.
Yup. So I didn't know what he would be like in this because I haven't seen him like with the chops. So I loved him and I love their dynamic. I've always loved Kyle Chandler. I'm a big Friday Night Lights fan. And then obviously he's done a million things in between. I think that he is got that like, how do I say this? I'm going to say this in a not PC way.
Okay.
He's got that like Southern charm without being like super conservative feeling.
Yeah.
Totally does it for me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know how to phrase that better.
Yeah.
It's like he's got that thing where you're like, I want to grab a beer with this guy, but also you're kind of an ass, but also you seem like your head's in the right place sometimes when it really counts, but you're a little hot-headed. Like he does it for me. I love him too. So the two of them, their dynamic I find to be very interesting. I love that we were able to include the oath in this episode.
Yep.
I love the interrogation scene. That was my favorite scene in the episode. I like a lot of the world building, the energy around like this town. It feels very not like anything else that we've seen in the DC so far.
Yep.
And the ending didn't bother me, and I'm only leaving it at that for now because I know that's where a lot of people were lost. So
yeah. No, the ending doesn't bother me either for a variety of reasons. I want to co-sign everything you said. I think Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre is just another example of like A+ casting, like nailed it. I've obviously been, because Rebel Ridge came out before they announced him as John Stewart. So like the second he was announced, I'm like, well, I'm in. I'm sold. I'm at least sold on that casting. I'm not typically like a Hal or John guy. I'm more of a Kyle Rayner guy.
Yeah, I know that's true about you. And I was a little nervous for you because of that.
But they're doing a lot. I'm becoming more of a John guy. I like this take on John. I am a little interested in some of John's backstory, where it looks like his dad might have been specifically training him to be a lantern, which I think might be a little too on the nose. I did like the little moment where John's going to go relate to this kid, and he starts sharing a really traumatic childhood memory as if it's like a fun little bit of backstory. I'm like, no, my dude, you need to talk to somebody. If you think that's just like, oh, whatever, that's how I was raised, you need to talk to somebody, man.
I don't know if you're right or wrong about this because I agree that it did seem like, especially with the like no fear standing here, all that, like he was being trained for that. But also his dad's a military man and might have just been training him to be strongman.
Either way, not a good dad.
and like really tough because it doesn't feel as if John is aware.
Nope.
Not a good dad.
Nope. It reminded me a little bit of Lestat, where like somebody needs to take you aside and explain to you like this ain't cool. This isn't cool,
not your fault.
This isn't. You need to distance yourself because we even see in the present he's still like calling his dad. And
his dad's advice in the present is like essentially it's sack up.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, this guy sucks. So
he tried to kill me. He asks no follow-up questions. It's not like, in what way did he try to kill you?
Exactly. It's like, no,
he's
that's
not
just
trying
the way
to kill you. You're fine.
Yeah. No, but he did though. I watched this with my wife. This would be normally something Monica wouldn't watch with me, but it kind of House of the Dragon. Let's fill the House of the Dragon slot. And she kind of asked me, like, is this like how Jordan is? And I'm like, it's an if you take the Hal Jordan we typically get in the comics, who's like always in his 30 to 40s, like most comic characters, and aged him up 10 to 20 years, 100%. Like, this is, I see Hal in this. And I think, we'll get to the ending soon, but they give themselves a lot of runway. Like, he's been doing this 20, 30 years. So you've got so much runway to tell Hal's stories, regardless of the end of the episode, and how seriously we take that. I like the different one. So spoilers for Lanterns episode 1. I like the different timeline element. I think that's very interesting. I also think Roxy is grounded.
We were going to keep up with that, the 2016, 2026 timeline jump.
Specifically those two. I doubt we'll go back to 1996 that often, but 26, I think we're going to be jumping between 2026 and 2016. Those will be the two main timelines. I'll be interesting to see if it's even or if we spend more with the one with Hal than the other one. But I think the other thing, I saw some people, very few, most people really like this, but I saw very few of like, I can't believe, Green Lantern's all about imagination and all this stuff, and they just make it another like True Detective or like Mayor from Easttown. It's like, well, one, we've never gotten that sort of thing in a superhero show, and two, it helps that for the first time, I just watched the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern, and so I think the instinct to run as far away from that as possible is a good one, because that movie was quite bad.
We see him fly. We hear him reference that he spent time off Earth.
That's the thing I was going to say.
Got time travel going on, or the whatever it is.
Timelines. That was the thing I was going to mention. While the show's more grounded, it's not afraid of its premise. You mentioned the oath. Like I like before. So at some point during the interrogation. No. It's when he's doing the. It's at one point in the episode. Somebody's asking him, like, what are you doing? And he doesn't say, like, I'm a member of the Green Lantern Corps. He says, I'm Green Lantern. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the superhero Green Lantern. And so it's like, we already know guys in this universe. We already know, like, gee whiz, David Cornsweet, Superman's in this universe. This while this is a more grounded take on the character, it's not afraid of itself, of what it's connected to.
Yeah, and also the entire town is like, why aren't you wearing your costume anymore? Like, implying that he obviously did at some point, and that everybody knew that. Like, it's not like they're avoiding the costume, or like it's a character choice.
Well, and people were like,
"Why doesn't his smart for finances?"
Yeah, and people are like, "Why isn't his costume more green?" We see in the flashback, it is the one we see in the trailers. He's been wearing it for a minute. It's seen some duty. You know what I mean? It's a busted up one. Like, everything about it is intentional, and I think that really helps a lot.
Let me ask you this, because this was ridiculous to me, and then again, we will get to the end, but. This was ridiculous to me, but maybe there's merit to it because I'm not a comic book reader the same way you are.
Yeah.
People were pissed that they made John Stewart a vegan.
Oh, who cares?
Okay.
Well, something that's
like, is him being a carnivore in the comic books a big thing?
Who gives a shit? I think that who cares? That I don't know if he's a vegan or not in the comics. Who cares? No, it doesn't matter. But what I do like, and if I'm being honest, I find kind of relatable. I like how straight edge John is. Like, he does it because my wife pointed this out. She's like, when he's offered a beer, he takes a Coke. Like, he doesn't drink coffee. Like, he's really, to the degree, the only thing that stood out to me is there's a scene after the bar sequence where he hooks up with a woman that ends up being narratively important later. That felt like more of a Hal mistake than a John mistake. Yeah,
I agree with that. That did.
But we all have our weaknesses.
But it did feel a little out of character. But I also think that might be part of it, is that he's like still learning. He's still young. He's still not like it. He's making a lot of smart choices. He also was not aware of what the situation was at the time.
No. Yeah. This felt like a guy that wouldn't really do the like random hookup thing. But you know what? That's Hal even says like, "Oh, I'm impressed." It's like, because that's something you would do. Right. All right. Do we want to talk about the ending?
Yeah, I especially want to talk about it with you because you have stuff to pull from. And also I just want your opinion. Do you think that Hal Jordan's dead?
So here's the thing. I kind of took this. So for what we're talking about, against spoilers, is we jumped to 2026. John Stewart reconnects with Kelly MacDonald's character, Sheriff Carrie Kane. By the way, she's great. I love that she is just as sharp as John and Hal are.
I like her a lot too.
Yeah, like she like outmaneuvers them multiple times.
Yeah, totally. It's very annoying when all of our human characters or all of our like non-superhero characters are dumb, and it's like, no, just because you're not a superhero does not mean you wouldn't be good at your job or competent or smart in any way.
Yeah, like way on top of it. I also love. Oh man, I'm getting off topic. I love that, and we'll see this unfold. But like the explanation of why they're there, and like how relaying his comic accurate origin. But the fact that it happened there and immediately, because Hal seems like kind of a loose cannon and kind of a not a dope. Dope is too harsh. But throughout the episode, he's like, no. Hal's actually been doing this a while and it's really sharp. He's like, I kind of knew almost immediately that it's weird. Like he explains Earth as a backwater. They never wanted like an Earth Green Lantern, all that shit. He's like, there's a reason he crash landed here. And I'm like, that's good. I like that that's connected to the mystery. But anyway. I took it as face value. John reconnects with the sheriff, and we find Hal shot in the head. And I posted a joke that most people took as a joke, but I posted a joke that the number one suspect for stealing Hal's ring is Guy Gardner, because he's the only one running around with a ring in the present. But people pointed out that like
it's a different ring.
Well, it's a different ring, whatever. But that Hal might not be dead, and I was like, you do have a few outs for that. One, we specifically explained that I don't remember how many species. There's 14 species of alien that can disguise themselves as human, and you would never know. And we talk
about manhunters and shapeshifters. We talk about like several references to things that could be happening here.
Yeah, so that gives them an out. But they also have, even if Hal is dead, we already have, if we still want Kyle Chandler in the show, we already have his the hologram version of him. That's way more chill and friendly. So they have a few, and again, I think it'd be interesting if it's not Hal.
Is the it's also a bit of not physically able to be touched.
I would assume no, but I actually don't know.
Because remember at one point he's like, I can fly us. Like, can you fly us there? And it's like, I can't fly yet.
Yeah, he hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't taught me how to fly yet.
Right, but that makes me think that he could have been flown with him, like physically.
Well, because he exists in the ring. I think that he's connected it in the ring, so wherever the ring goes, that version of Hal exists. So that gives you an out too. I think it'd be interesting if it's not really Hal, but that does feel like a bit of a cop out. I think they've talked a lot about like
a cop out as much as it does like a TV show pilot. Like, this is kind of like how you're supposed to do television.
Yeah.
You are supposed to have a pilot that the end of the pilot or the pilot in general makes you say, I want to know what happened. Yeah. I want to keep watching this. Mm-hmm. This is where I'm okay when different mediums deviate from each other, because this is how, like, in a pilot, you are supposed to introduce your characters. You're supposed to make us want to get to know these people more, give us enough to make us like engaged with them, but not enough that we don't care anymore to learn more. And there's usually supposed to be some kind of a cliffhanger. That doesn't necessarily have to be something as big as this, but like a reason why you have to tune in next week or for the season. That's what TV is supposed to do. Yeah. And that's what this did. So I wouldn't find it a cop-out if he's not dead, as much as like, that was smart. It's smart for them to like have us ask this question.
It's a good mystery.
Is it not him?
And if it is him, I'm okay with that again, because it's not like we're just introducing this Hal to the audience, but he's been doing this. It's not like Hal's just been introduced to the Green Lantern Corps, and now we're going to kill him off. Like, no, he's been doing, if you're a Hal fan, he's been doing Hal Jordan shit for 30 years.
So if this is him, is your understanding that John Stewart didn't get the ring? He didn't. So that means that he's not, like, what is let's go with, it was him. It's him and he was shot.
Whatever my impression right now, and obviously it's a mystery show, so they'll unfurl this as we go on. But I feel like whatever happens in 2016 results in John not getting the ring, and what we're going to see in this show is by the end through 2026 is him getting the ring, because he's going to be in Man of Tomorrow, and I'm very excited.
In 2026.
Yeah. I think.
Where do you think Hal Jordan's ring is?
Well, if fans are right and it's an alien, it could still be on Hal Jordan's finger.
Right.
and he killed this
If
guy.
it
Yeah.
isn't.
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. I will be interested because apparently I didn't see this. I did watch the behind the scenes thing at the end of the episode, but apparently in the podcast, Tom King specifically says Guy Gardner has the ring. But as people mentioned, they look different. They're different designs from the movie to this. That doesn't necessarily mean they're actually different rings, different prop departments or whatever. I do hope, and I'm not being facetious, I do hope the reason Guy has a ring and John doesn't is stupid. Because I think it'd be great motivation for John. Like imagine we've already seen a little bit of the bullshit John is having to go through. And then for the Guardians to be like, we'll give it, we do have an extra ring for Guy. That would piss me, if I was John, it'd be piss me off so much. And I think that'd be a great dynamic setup. Like I already can't wait for Aaron Pierce, John Stewart to meet Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner because they're going to hate each other.
Fun.
They're going to hate each other so
Yeah.
much.
I know. I'm looking forward to that too.
What
episode do you think we'll get that?
I think maybe we might get Guy in the next one. I didn't see in episode 2. Like I didn't. Because again, if you're listening to this when we drop it, that episode will already dropped. So you guys all know stuff that we already don't know. This also, the timeline thing also gives them so much leeway in an already established universe. Like remember when the trailers were coming out, like Hal says he's the only human Green Lantern. How can that be? Because it's 2016.
Yeah.
Guy doesn't have the ring now. So we have it gives them so much room to maneuver without having to worry about stepping on other people's story stuff that like, no, a bulk of the story is 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. Good. It's good. I do want, Roxy, if you'll indulge me for a second. We did run long.
I will, absolutely.
Gosh, we're running long. This was on Threads. This was posted by Culture Crave on Threads. This, for people that are listening, this has the Rotten Tomatoes score for each of the DCU projects so far. Peacemaker has 94%. Peacemaker Season 2 has 94%. Lanterns is 89%. Superman is 83%. And Supergirl is 52%. The comment to this that I liked was that meme of Robert Pattinson from that new movie that's coming out where he's like, you see how this looks, right? Roxy, if you'll indulge me, if instead of Hal and John, let's say the tone is the same, the basic premise is the same, but it's Joe Moline and Jessica Cruz. It's 2 female characters as Green Lanterns. Do you think it's rated as high? And I'm talking, this is critic score. This is an audience score. This is critic score. Do you think it's rated as high?
No, still no.
Yeah.
You think critics are above sexism?
You'd like to think a little bit more because audiences that rate stuff on Rotten Tomatoes tend to be like really, let's say opinionated. I'll be gentle and say opinionated. Yeah, I think that's an interesting thing to consider, right? That it's if people, when we talk about the reaction to Supergirl, if people think about, because there are 2 women Green Lanterns, human Green Lanterns in the comics. If it was those 2 instead of Hal and John, but the same premise, same basic setup. Think
about Supergirl critics.
That's what I'm saying. But that's why I'm agreeing with you, Roxy. But I think that's an interesting people talk about.
I agree, except they don't have the same kind of fan. Like I think that they picked the right Green Lanterns for this.
I do too, and I think you're making a really good point that sometimes I think the response to this is less overt racism or sexism and more like, wait, it's not what I recognize. It's not what I'm used to.
Right.
The net result is the same, but the instinct is different. I don't know. So it's just something interesting to think about. We do have questions, and I should get to them real quick. Clementine says, something I noticed immediately with the X-Men casting is the core team seems to be made up of 4 women and only 2 men. I find this so refreshing. So far, I'll just say, I'm going to add in so far. For some reason, superhero teams are always allergic to having women outnumber the men in the roster. Can you think of any co-ed team where this is the case, or even any teams with equal counts of men and women?
Teams, specifically superhero ones?
I actually don't know. Hold on. I actually don't know because I don't think Samara Weaving's Emma Frost is going to be an X-Men. I imagine she's going to be working with Sinister. The character has been an X-Men in the comics, but typically she starts off villainous and then crosses over.
A lot of people think that they're going to start with the story of this being her students, and that's the origin story of why she goes bad.
But we already have a Professor X. I don't know that. We'll see.
But we'll see.
Yeah, maybe.
I Birds of Prey.
Oh yeah, Birds of Prey, which famously everybody loved. I liked it a lot. I liked that movie a lot.
Just trying to answer the question.
I will be interested
Harley
to this
Quinn,
point.
the animated series.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see if it stays that way. If the women outnumber the men as we cast more people. Jake Hefner asks, what do you think about Mr. Sinister being the first big bad the X-Men face instead of Magneto? I think that's a great idea. I think you could save Magneto for a later movie. We've done a lot of Magneto. I think you could hold off on that one and build up to him because he is so
still thinking about the other question. Riverdale,
the famous team of the Riverdale.
Betty,
team.
Veronica, Cheryl, like they all and it turned totally supernatural. So
yeah. No, typically in this stuff, it is primarily dude forward.
I'm just trying to answer the question, DJ.
Yeah, we got Jean. We got Jean. We got Rogue. We got Storm. Oh, we got a Scott, but it's not going to take much to tip those numbers, man.
No.
Yeah, we'll see. I would like to see some X-Men characters we haven't seen in movies before. There's so many characters. So it'd be cool to see something like that. Roxy, what do you think about Mr. Sinister being the first big bad instead of Magneto?
If it's done well, then cool.
No. I think we can do the same thing we did with Doom. Like, Professor X already has a relationship with Magneto. He's just not here yet. We'll get there.
I love Magneto. Magneto's one of my favorite characters ever. So, I'm a Magneto, Beta person, but I would be fine with this.
I also think Magneto is a trickier casting. You gotta really nail that one. As opposed to, like I would imagine he's harder to cast than like Cyclops. But maybe that's just me.
But would you have not thought that Adam Driver could do it?
Yeah, I mean, is he Jewish? I would get a Jewish actor to play Magneto.
I think so, but let's look.
Yeah, I would get a Jewish actor to play Magneto. I know some people have talked about doing something different. I do think it's important that Magneto's backstory is connected.
Oh no, he's not Jewish. I thought he was.
Yeah, I think it's important that Magneto's backstory is connected to the Holocaust.
I agree with you. I think when people have this conversation about different things, I'm like, oh God.
And that's why I think it would, if I were doing X-Men, it would really matter to me that Professor X be black. Because then he can, like Magneto's like, this thing happened to me. And it's like, yeah, I know, man, but wiping out the entire human race ain't it, man. And it would have more weight. It would have more weight. Right. Isaac says, did you enjoy the Lanterns pilot? We just said we did. Was there enough green for everyone's taste? There was for me.
Me too.
There was for me. Mike Joyce, you're in the chat already. We already answered this. Sorry, gang. I should have threaded these in more elegantly. Do you think Hal's really dead? Could he be Parallax or a Black Lantern? I don't think we're going to get Parallax or Black Lantern anytime soon. This does not feel like we're embracing a lot from the comics. I think that's a bit much for season 1 of this show. Leonard Kim says, X-Men related, do you think the remaining who do you think the remaining characters are and who have yet to be announced? You know what, Leonard? I'm probably going to save this question for another episode because I think you and I could do a whole episode about what other characters and casting for X-Men could be in there. Lanterns related, how long do you think these aliens have been
I'd have to learn a lot from you because I don't know a lot of the deep cut X-Men.
That's what I'm here for. Lanterns related, how long do you think these aliens have been scouting for lanterns? I think we're going to find out in the show. But it sounds like at least since Hal's had the ring, and he had it. Help me remember. Has he had it like we see the interview in '96, but did he have it for like a decade prior to that?
I don't know. You keep saying 20 to 30 years, and every time you say that, I think to myself, is it 20 or 30 years?
Well, it's been at least if it's 96,
minimum of 20, maximum of 30. Seems like
yeah. So at least during that time. So we'll find all of that out together. Roxy, where can the kids find what you're working on?
Although then if we're in 2026, then the 96, that is 30 years.
That is 30 years. So the question, if he's been an active Green Lantern from 2016 to 2026, then that's 30 years. But I think he's had it longer than 96.
I don't know.
Anyway, he's been Green Lantern for a minute. So I feel like Hal Jordan
he got it in 86.
Yeah, so that could be up to 40 years.
Yeah.
So Hal Jordan fans, you got a lot of stuff. Also deep cut bullshit For a long time, Hal Jordan had like gray at his temples, which they got rid of in the modern comics. I do love that Kyle Chandler. It's more like a across the board, like a salt and pepper thing going.
Yeah.
But he's got the gray around. I like that. That makes me happy. Anyway, Roxy, where can the kids find what you're working on?
You guys can find me everywhere at Roxy Stryer.
You can find me at DJ Talks Trash. Check out my personal channel for stuff like Retroversity or my show Trash Talk. If you want to see stuff like this early, live, Patreon exclusive shows like what we're into or Adventures Academy, you can do that over at patreon.com/onlystupid answers. And we will see you all next time.